Jewelry Academy's first live stream. I'm Professor John R., and I'm your instructor. You've heard that a million times. Anyway, let me tell you how we're going to do this. The rules of engagement are that my co-founder, co-owner, Don, who you might know better as the voice of Santa in our holiday videos, is going to read out questions to me, and I'll answer them. And if you get your question to the top of the heap, we have something called Super Chat that you can bring your question to the top by paying a small fee, of course, but those fees that you pay will help to produce new videos for you to watch in the future. So, Don, do you have the first question for us?
Sure, John. You know, over the years, we have managed to get certain questions asked over and over again.
Okay.
And I am going to say this as soon as we start getting some questions coming in.
Okay.
And I am going to say this as soon as we start getting some questions coming in from this chat. I'll also go to those, but I wanted to start with a couple of questions that we've just gotten over and over again over the years. So
Okay.
one of the first questions that people seem to ask about is, what are you a professor of?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do get that question a lot, and it cracks me up. It's in my bio, folks. I have my master's degree in metals and jewelry from California State University at Long Beach. Go Big Blue. And anyway, I've been teaching in a art environment for the last 18 years, and I've been making jewelry for about the last 30 years. And I have worked professionally in sales and product development for the jewelry industry as well. So that's what my jewelry background is in. And my performance background, well, I also have an undergraduate degree in drama. Ooh, what a surprise. But what else do we have? Do we have a question yet from anybody?
Nobody's asked a question. We do have a couple of people. Hunter3SS1 says hello. He's looking forward to this. And Reiki Thomas says hi. I enjoy your YouTube videos. Thanks so much.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos.
Okay. Let me ask you another question, then we'll get to some of the questions that are coming in. You know, a lot of times we've had people ask about quenching metals. They seem a little confused about the difference between steel and the materials you work with. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Okay, we have a video on that. To quench or not to quench? That is the name of the video. And in that video, I explain whether or not you should quench your metal. Now, on the Online Jewelry Academy, I tend to demonstrate with either copper, brass, or silver. And those are all non-ferrous metals. In other words, metals that don't contain any iron. And you can either quench those metals safely, or you can air cool them. If you air cool those metals, you allow bigger crystals internally to grow. But if you quench them, the crystal growth is halted, and you get much smaller crystals, and that improves the malleability or the ductility of the metal, meaning it's easier to hammer or roll print or draw through a draw plate, all of those good things. On the other side, though, the people who've been watching too many episodes of Forged in Fire, they're trying to tell me that I've done something wrong by quenching my metal. You made it hard. No, that's only if you're working with steel or iron-based materials. So we're good. And if you want to get the full explanation, you can check out that video. While I got a moment, I just want to point out I am wearing some of the Online Jewelry Academy merchandise. Now, I will send you the shirt off my back. Actually, Teespring will. Just check the shelf underneath every video, and you can see the t-shirts, hoodies, and the stickers that we have that have our Online Jewelry Academy slogan, which is, "Jewelers do it with hot pickle." See, you have to be a jeweler to be in on that joke. And if you want one of the smaller Online Jewelry Academy buttons, this is available with a contribution through patreon.com for $5 monthly. And of course, we will put your questions at the top of the heap if you are one of our Patreon followers. So do we have a Patreon question yet, or?
We don't have a Patreon question, but we do have a couple of questions. We have
Okay.
one from Fanny, and I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her last name. It looks like Heggs. It's Hecz, but she's got an apostrophe on the E.
Okay.
Anyway,
Hi, Fanny.
she says, "Hey John, can you make a video showing us different ways to do fishbone rings?
Fish.
I am stuck and don't know how I get started."
Ooh. You know what, Fanny? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by a fishbone ring. And what I would recommend is if you could either write out a better description and send it to me on the contact portion of the Online Jewelry Academy website, I can give you back a better explanation. And Don's signaling me to tell me something. What is it, Don?
Sure. She can rewrite the question right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She could resend. You can resend the question right now, Fanny, because I'm not familiar what you mean by a fishbone ring.
No, wishbone.
Wishbone ring. Oh, well, do you mean incorporating the bone or just the shape? So let me know, and I'll give you a better answer. What's the other question that we have?
Anthony Langford.
Hi,
and
Anthony.
He is a Patreon or a patron. He says, "Good morning. Thank you for doing this. Question: any tips for learning to set faceted non-cabochon stones?"
Faceted non-cabochon stones. Okay, so those would just be faceted stones. By the way, Anthony, thanks for being a Patreon subscriber. We do have a video that shows you the easiest way to incorporate faceted stones into your work, and that's tube setting. And you'll find that in our playlist, and the playlist is available both on YouTube and on our website at onlinejewelryacademy.com. Now, you could also use a single or double gallery basket setting, and we do have videos that we produced with Professor Jennifer Monroe, who I work with at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising here in Los Angeles. And that's another way that you can set a faceted stone into your work. But here's the big news. I'm currently working on developing a new stone setting course that we will offer through udemy.com. And that course will cover how to set faceted stones as flush setting, tube setting, and we'll also do some other types of settings in that course as well. And by the way, I'll just plug our Udemy courses right now. We have two. Our beginner course is called Colorful Silver Jewelry, and it's a comprehensive course for beginners. And it takes you through a variety of steps that really helps you to become very much acquainted with all aspects of jewelry making. And then we have an intermediate to advanced course that's called Beautiful Articulated Hinged Jewelry. And the project in that video is making a hinged bracelet with a box clasp. So I hope you check those out. Now, if you do, be sure to use the coupon code that's included in the description of our videos, and that will actually get you a discount price on those courses. So, do we have any more questions?
Well, actually, we've got some clarification.
Oh, okay. Did I say something wrong?
No, no. Fanny is talking about shape. She says, "I met the shape by Wishbone."
Okay.
And Hunter 3SS1 says, "Mariani is the proper name for me, LOL, but I do think the wishbone refers to the rings that are wire split in a V at the ends."
Okay. I would refer to those as a split shank ring. And we actually have a video on how to do that, which is great. It's included in the playlist. The split shank rings are super simple to make. If you know how to make a basic ring, heck, if you know how to make jump rings, two big jump rings make two rings, and you're just going to solder them together at the seam. And I have tips on how to do that in the video. And it's super easy. You just separate the rings with a knife blade, and then you're ready to cap them with whatever type of top of the ring topper that you want. And we've got some suggestions in the video for that as well. I hope that answers your question.
Reiki Thomas asks, "I was looking at the beginner courses,
Okay.
Does it include soldering in the beginner course? I need to learn that correctly.
Yeah, the beginning course does cover soldering, but just so you know, if you still have some insecurity after seeing the course, you can definitely check the Online Jewelry Academy playlist. And if you check on our website, we've grouped the videos by category type. And the first section is something, it is titled something like Soldering Your Work. And there are different types of approaches to working with solder, complete explanations about how you solder certain types of joints shut, and do's and don'ts that will help you to be more efficient with your soldering. So it's covered. You should definitely check out that course though.
Okay. Anthony Langford asks, when you have jeweler's block, like writer's block,
Yeah.
what methods or resources do you use to help you generate new ideas?
Oh, that's easy. And we have a video on it, of course, included in the section in our playlist that talks about how you make, design, sell your work. There's a video about making a mood board. Now, that will basically help you to formalize your ideas and put them all together in one place. But what I would say is it's important to have some kind of inspiration board or even just a binder where you put tear sheets from magazines, or maybe you print something off of the internet, or maybe it's a doodle or a sketch that you made that you just put into this book. And that way, if you regularly look at those things, you can begin to see how your ideas are beginning to develop and maybe draw some inspiration from those things. The other thing that I would highly recommend is get out into the real world. Go look at architecture, visit a museum, and go to jewelry stores. Go to fashion accessory stores and look at what other people have designed. I think Instagram and the web are great. Pinterest, great place to look at other people's collection of inspirational photos. So check all those things out.
Okay. Ricky or Reiki Thomas, thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
Franz Hex says, yes, pretty much answers my question. Can you repeat the title of the video where I could learn how to do it? XX. Can't wait to watch it.
Oh, for the split shank rings?
No, I believe.
For not sure which video just yet.
She
Hold
was
on.
the beginner course, I believe,
Oh.
is what she's talking about.
Okay, the beginner course on udemy.com is called Colorful Silver Jewelry. And if you go to udemy.com, you'll find it listed under the jewelry education. I believe they have a crafts heading, and then under the crafts heading they have a more refined breakout, and there's a jewelry section, and it would be listed there. Or you can just put it into their search engine, and it'll bring it right up for you. But yeah.
We also have at the bottom of our most recent videos links that she can click in the description.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But just check underneath the videos for sure. Any super chat questions yet?
No super chat
No
questions.
super chat. Darn it.
But we have Brana Cat says, do you have any advice on setting love heart-shaped cabochons?
Love heart. So little Valentine's Day heart-shaped cabochons. Those are tricky to set because of that indentation between the two humps of the heart. You kind of have a difficult time sometimes getting that in there. The main thing that I would tell you, I've done it myself before, but the main thing that I would tell you is because it's hard to push that area, you need to start at the tip and that area first in opposition to one another. And I would say keep the bezel low in that place. Even if it just like barely comes up and laps over the top a little bit, you're okay. You just want it to maybe only come up like, oh, I don't know, like 0.3 millimeters above the stone, which is tiny. That's good enough. And then you should be able to just bezel rock around the stone. But with any odd-shaped stone, start at the weird places, like the tips or the indentations. Push those in first, then go to maybe like the big humps of the heart, and then rock all the way around it. That way your stone will stay centered in the setting and it will look really, really good. But when in doubt, practice.
Let me just add that we do have a video that doesn't talk about those, but we do have a video that
How to set odd shaped stones. Yes, there is definitely a video there. And we'll be talking about that in the upcoming course as well.
Okay. Hunter 3SS1
Yeah.
says, to avoid buying another torch, is
Yes.
there an easy way to help this poor gal figure out how to correctly adjust a Smith Little Torch oxygen propane setup, or do you use an acetylene torch?
Good question. I actually use a wide variety of torches depending on where I'm working. Now, when I shoot the videos here, I'm using a really, you've seen it a million times, that really small butane torch. And by the way, everybody asks me where I got that. And I just want to say for the record, until we get a jewelry supplier to support us with advertisements, I'm not giving any advertisements away for free. Instead, what I will give you are searchable terms that you can use on the net to do a search for tools and supplies. And then that way you can do some comparative shopping so that you pay the least amount of money. But what I would tell you is, like, for specifics on torches, especially the one that you mentioned, the first thing that I would do is I would check the manufacturer's website. They probably have a video or an explanation about how to make adjustments for the air and the gas so that you're getting a really good flow. If you're still having a problem, I would say you might want to consult with your local welding supply store. That way you ensure that you're staying safe. The other thing that you might also do is, if you're taking a jewelry class at a community college in your area, ask the instructor in person. And I'm saying these things first because the most important thing whenever you're working with gas is you want to work safely. And propane can be a little bit sketchy just because it's a heavy gas and it sinks rather than rises. So be sure that you work safely and check out the manufacturer website. And probably you can maintain that torch, and if nothing else, take it into the welding supply company. Maybe they can refurbish it for you if it needs any kind of treatment. I hope that helps.
Okay. John, we have a question from Luca Brasi,
Okay.
which is kind of a tough one. Where can I buy gold from to start a business?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to give you the answer that I give my in-person students all the time. Like, I always say, I don't really know the best resource because I don't work there. So what I would tell you is, you really need to pay attention to the spot price of the metal. You can find the spot price online, and you can probably send some kind of push notification to your phone that will tell you every morning what the spot price of gold is. And what I would tell you is, track it for a while, or find a website where it graphs the price of gold, and make sure that you're buying at a low point. You don't want to basically put a lot of money into inventory that's just sitting there waiting for you to work with it. And I would say buy as little as possible. Don't keep it on the shelf unless you're getting an extremely good price. And I would say try to work with a refiner in your area, because that way, once they get to know you and they know what you generally order, they will let you know if they're running low on that particular type of stock. Also, it'll keep your shipping prices down, and you're going to contribute to the tax base of your municipality if you buy from a local vendor. You can buy online, but I don't know what the markup is going to be between different suppliers for things like that. But that's definitely a question that you need to take to a professional. I am one, but you need to talk to somebody in person, I think, or over the phone. What's another question?
Aki Bao.
Butchering that name, yes.
Okay, I'm messing that name up. I apologize to you.
Good morning.
But his question, or her question, I
Yes.
don't know, is, hi, Professor John.
Hi.
Love from Hong Kong.
Oh,
I have a
wow.
problem on my copper piece that I cut a shape of a cat out of a thin copper piece.
Okay.
I think that I accidentally annealed it when soldering a leg onto it, and as a result, the piece is so soft now.
Oh,
What could I do to make it become a hard piece again? Thank you.
okay, that's actually a really easy question. And just for the sake of some beginners who are listening in and watching, any time that you perform a soldering operation, you are annealing the piece because the melting temperature and the flow temperature of the solder, just in that little area of the temperature that you reach when the solder flows, you're well past an annealing temperature. So you did anneal it when you soldered. Now, if you want to get the piece work hardened so that it's not super flexible and bending and looking strange, you could. The easiest way to do it would be to run it in the tumbler. I always tell students minimum 10 minutes, maximum probably 2 hours. If you run it longer than 2 hours, it'll get harder, but it probably won't get any more shiny. But the tumbling operation will actually work harden the piece and stiffen it up. If you're a little impatient and if it's flat, you could maybe take it to the top of an anvil and just hit it with something like a rawhide mallet or a dead blow mallet. That's a plastic hammer that has lead shot in it. And those two methods should probably help you to make it nice and stiff again. But good luck with your project. And thanks for contacting us. What's the next one?
Ricky Thomas just made a comment. She said, I loved your Cheeseball video. Ha.
Me too. It was one of my favorites. I'm still loving it.
She said, made one myself and it's awesome.
Ah, great.
Great, helpful hint.
Yes.
Saves a huge mess.
Oh my God. Adds a level of protection. It's not perfect, but adds a level of protection to keep junk out of your eyes. But if I'm grinding something, I love putting it into a containment unit so those little things don't like get down my shirt or in my hair. Yeah, it's great. And if you do ever graduate to working with gold, it's a great way to collect your gold and immediately separate it into other containers for refinement. And that can be really, really important if you really want to save money. If you can actually like keep material that doesn't have solder away from material that does have solder in it. The stuff that's super clean, you could actually cast it into ingots that you could then roll out into sheet or draw into wire again. So it's a great device and way cheaper than buying one retail that's professionally made by one of the suppliers. So I'm glad you liked the video. It's one of my favorites too.
Okay. Hunter 3SS1, Mariana here.
Yeah.
Again, I just wanted to say you're an excellent and amusing instructor, and you've helped me through the years. Thanks. By the way, I am Canadian.
Well, hello to our Canadian neighbors. Not all of us feel the same way about you as our president does, but anyway, I'm glad that you're following the Online Jewelry Academy, and I'm glad that I've been able to help you with your jewelry projects. So, yeah, keep watching for sure.
Actually, you should clarify, probably most of us don't feel the way our president does about Canada. We mostly love Canada.
We love Canada.
We do, absolutely. So, I have one more question. Well, first of all, I'll just say that at this point, nobody else is asking any other questions.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Let's give them one more chance to ask another question, and then I will ask the final question.
Okay.
Jane Thomas says, thanks for all the high-level instructions from the far, far northwoods of Wisconsin.
Ooh, I hear it's beautiful up there.
And Hunter 3SS1 says, thanks, we love you guys too. Our patron Anthony Langford says, do you have or will you be making a video on Celtic woven chains, necklace, or bracelet?
Oh my gosh. The quick answer to that is no. I don't really do that type of work, but I'll tell you something. There are tons of books and articles on how to do that type of jewelry work. There is a video included in our playlist that shows you how to do a twist of a square wire that gives you that Celtic feel, and that would be something to check out. But it's in terms of like working to make an image that represents a Celtic symbol or design pattern or something like that, or working with chainmail or things like that. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse. It's not really the type of work that I do, but there are plenty of other people on the web who do that type of work, and I support you freely. Go look, learn, bring it back to us. Maybe we can invite you to come and show us in a video sometime. But I don't do that kind of work. I'm sorry.
Okay, Craig Kurtz, thanks you for all of your videos. You've helped me so much, my jewelry projects, and I really appreciate it. We have a person that says she's Mara Cicerelli, says she's having trouble posting questions, but I am seeing her. Okay,
Super chat.
She was no, she was able to get a question in, and I'll get to that after this question.
Okay.
We do have Prana Cat says, do you have any odd tools that you use in jewelry making? For example, I mostly use a teaspoon to set cabochons.
Oh yeah. I love alternatives to expensive tools that you buy from jewelry suppliers. And in a recent video, the Goldilocks mandrel, I won't give the secret away, but there's a great alternative tool suggestion in there. But yeah, all the time, I will use old files because they're good steel, and it's a little tricky if you don't know how to work with steel. It could be a problem. But yeah, I'm always converting old files into something, or I make burnishers out of them, big ones, and I'm trying to think what other crazy stuff.
We have a video on that, John.
Yes, we do. What is that one called? I forget.
Oh, it's the bathroom.
There's one there's a video on the playlist, and I can't remember the name of it. Oh my god, it's hilarious. It's a very strange video about household items that you can turn into tools, like things like using your nail clippers to cut wire, or using emery boards to file things and stuff. It's an interesting video. Have a glass of wine and watch that one.
Okay.
I don't know what we were thinking, but it was funny.
Okay. Let's see. Craig Kirk, thank you for all of your. Oh, I read his already.
You read.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
You're welcome, Craig.
Let's see. Linda Witch, I enjoy your program. I've learned so much. Mara Cicerelli has gotten through. Any suggestion for a good general spray sealant for sealing patinated copper or waterproof paper beads and painted components?
Oh my goodness. There are a lot of really good sealers that you can use. It just depends on how much money you want to spend, number one. And number two, it depends on kind of where you live. I mean, if you live remotely and you have to mail order or order things online, it's going to take you a while, and you have to sit and wait patiently for those products. But a quick one that you can get at any hardware store would be like a Krylon fixative. That acrylic is really good on certain things like paper or other friable. That's like a museum term. It just means things that are kind of delicate. You can spray with like an acrylic Krylon, and that will pretty much coat things. You can wax on top of patinas too, don't forget. But I just want to point out something that students ask me all the time about, and that is they get that really beautiful heat stain on copper, and suddenly they seal it, and oh my god, all the purple and the blue, especially the blue, disappears. There's really nothing you can do about it. It's just the way that the light refracts on that type of surface, and when you spray it with a sealant, you're just gonna mess it up and lose that. But I would say for coating copper and for coating other things, I would say it depends on how thick of a coating you want. You can use shellac, you can use polyurethane, you can use, what else can we use, Don? We've done videos on this. There's a lot of materials though.
Yes, but I would remind everybody none of them work very well.
Yeah, it's really true. The sealants don't really work all that well. You still have to be really careful with the jewelry, especially the paper, and I would say don't get it wet, and over a period of time it's going to wear anyway, and you're going to have to recoat it again. So, yeah, it doesn't work that well.
Okay. Aki Bao Bo, I'm says
Butchering those names.
which says thank you so much, and you pronounced my name correctly.
Oh.
I'm not sure if I did it correctly the second time. I'll probably pronounce it differently every time. Ask the question. I have a magic tumbler.
Ooh.
Not magic, magnetic
Oh,
tumbler.
magnetic. I wanted
tumbler.
a magic one.
Yes, I want a magic one too. And I will put my piece into it and have a try. I learned a lot from your lessons, and all of them were so helpful.
Great.
Robert Zingery asks, any tips on how to anneal 14 karat gold?
Oh, well, I would say number one, hopefully it's yellow gold. Yellow gold is the easiest to work with. If you're working with rose gold or white gold, the rules are a little bit different because you can develop cracks on the white or the rose gold. And the it was quenching you wanted to know about, right? Or annealing and quenching. What I'd say is like, if you are trying to make it, what am I trying to say? Let me go back one second.
And let me clarify. He just wants to know if you have any tips on how to anneal 14 karat gold.
Oh, okay. Definitely do it in the dark. You want to be able to see when the material is giving off light, and because it is very easy to melt. So turn off the lights when you do it, and try to keep the heat even on the piece of material. And like I said, if it's white or rose gold, you want to do a little bit of research about how to quench. Some people quench in alcohol, which can be dangerous, but it'll help to avoid cracks. You can always air cool the metal, but darkness is your friend in terms of annealing, even with silver too. I hope that helps.
Okay. Sarah from Taiwan says hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Margarita de Pusio, I think is how you pronounce it. Hello, Professor. Could you please suggest me a good book about wax carving? A big hug from Italy.
Oh.
And I'll remind you that we have lots of videos on wax carving also.
Yeah, we do. We do have a few we have quite a few videos on wax carving. As far as a book goes, my favorite one went out of print, quite honestly, so it's not available anymore. But what I would tell you is, when it comes to recommending of books, what I always think is that you really have to make that kind of selection yourself. And I would say you can preview books online, and you're also going to have to look for a book that you can understand. And there are great wax carving books, believe it or not, that I've seen that have come from Japan and China. I can't read them, but they have a lot of illustrations in them, and it makes it really easy to follow along with what project that they're working on when you can see step by step. I'd say you just kind of have to look for a book that you like. I'm sorry, I don't really have a great recommendation for that, but check out our videos. Our videos are really good.
We have a lot of them.
And we have a lot of them.
Exactly. Okay, Mara said, wow. She's talking about the copper question, the sealing copper. She says,
Yeah.
wow, didn't know about patinas on copper. You saved me a ton of wasted effort.
Yeah,
And,
that blue is just going to go away. It's
Right.
just, yeah.
And so at this point,
Yes.
we have passed our 30-minute mark that we
Oh,
were going
wow.
to set by a little bit. But I'm going to ask you the very last question here,
Okay.
and that is, of all of your videos, what are your fondest moments making the Online Jewelry Academy videos?
Well, I got to say, I'm partial to the Cheeseball video. That really, I mean, has been popular here at the Online Jewelry Academy anyway. And of course, I got to say that Elon Musk, he smoked a joint on camera. I'm not going to do that, but I will tell you this much. I love how the Online Jewelry Academy has shown people how to enjoy beer in their studio. So we have that video as well. You can check that one out. That's, let's see, what is that one called? Jewelry pickling, cleaning, and beer. And who, of course, who can forget the 10 things never to do in the jewelry lab? Gotta love that. Remember, you have to pull your hair back to avoid the devastation of hair loss. So let's see if I can tie this up again. Love how it kind of turns me into Mozart suddenly. But I think that the number one video that makes me giggle the most, and you have to check it out, is getting to know your burnisher. So if you haven't seen that one, I don't know what the hell we were thinking with that one, but for me personally, I think it's hilarious. Anyway, thanks you guys for getting up and joining us. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you again the next time we do this. Thanks for watching.